Howdy, folks. This is an impromptu reseller niche podcast, episode number 29. How's it going, Russ?
Good, Mo. How are you doing?
Good, good. And we just wanted to let you guys know up front, our connections are kind of spotty. So if we go silent for a couple seconds, just bear with us. We'll be right back, and we'll let you know when we're going off completely. But today, what's our topic today, Russ?
Well, the big one, I guess, would be eBay. eBay Open's coming up. eBay is making some changes, as always. eBay constantly has changes. And so let's look into our crystal ball and tell everybody where eBay's going, right?
That's right. Yeah, so, that's what we're going to do. We know exactly what's going to go on, when it's going to go on, and everything. I mean, no, seriously, we don't. Don't quote me on that.
No,
but
I don't even think eBay knows where they're going sometimes.
No, especially with all the changes they've been going through. Yep. So, I mean, I guess we'll start with what everyone's talking about. There's a email circulating with, I don't know if it was an email or a picture, supposedly a private email about possibly eBay going into the warehousing business. eBay, I don't know what they're going to call it, fulfillment by eBay or something like that, possibly. I don't know if they're going to talk about that maybe at eBay Open, but I think I think it's an interesting thing if it happens. What I was talking about with Russ earlier is that I was thinking that it's kind of a good time for them to dip their toes in, because Amazon seems kind of maxed out in terms of warehousing space in the US. They seem to be kind of focusing on other countries now a little bit. I mean, I'm sure they're still building, right, but not like they were like 5 years ago. So,
well, look how much Amazon has curtailed everybody from FBA.
Yeah.
We've talked about that in past episodes, that Amazon, they're moving towards private label, and that's what everybody in the industry feels that.
Yeah. And I think that's perfect. Actually, a perfect segue to what my next point was. I think with eBay, with Amazon, I think it is May or beginning of June, they're really cutting down on what you can, their inventory dashboard, if you've looked at it lately, they're really trying to cut down on what stuff stays in there and how long it stays in there for. I've had a bunch of stuff that I've been pulling recently, and I think there's a deadline. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's May or June, and they're going to increase their prices again like they do every year, but it's going to be even more than normal. So I think it's a good opportunity for every other company, including eBay, to kind of say, you know what, these guys look like they're focusing, like you said, private label, wholesale, and fast-moving items only. So
the items that fast-moving, utilitarian items.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I think gone are the days. You can still send it in. I mean, look, they curtailed books, they curtailed Nerfs, they curtailed Legos. I mean, they just, every category you can see. Now, there's still a lot of, I don't want to say walk away completely from Amazon. There's still a lot of categories you can FBA that are ungated. Then what was it fall last year, right before winter? They ungated a bunch of like grocery and stuff like that, and like a bunch more people.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's the ungating isn't so much the issue anymore as the branding is. It's like you can get ungated. Like I forget, I was looking up some toys that I was scanning last Q4, and I was gated, and then I'd go home and I'd ungate myself on certain like Barbie dolls, Mattel stuff, and all this, and then you can send it in, but that doesn't mean that somewhere down the line they're not going to come back and say you can't sell this.
Right.
So I think Amazon's kind of said, yeah, you can send it in. I can't guarantee that the owner of the brand's not going to say something though.
And if eBay does go to that, let's kind of just look at the good and the bad of something like that, Mo. The good is we can send in our death piles. We can send in stuff. Those of us that have done FBA would be,
oh yeah,
it would be like no brainer, man. Just go out and get more stuff and get that shipped in. The to me, the bad side of it is Amazon has done that and proven that it's a model that works, but it's not a sustainable model.
Yeah.
Now that talks about growth. Amazon is largest company in the world right now, or them and Apple go back and forth. eBay is what, number 28?
It's in the top. Yeah, it's in the top there. I mean, it's probably top 30. Yeah, like you said.
So it's not at the volume that eBay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I think e-commerce sites, it's up there. But if you're talking about overall like everything else, then yeah, top 30, yeah. I'd say.
They're not near that. So, and a question we've always talked about on eBay, because both of us came from a technical background, was can they technically handle something like that?
Yeah,
you're looking at, we look at software. They've only had a couple upgrades to the core of their software in the past couple of years.
Yep.
And when they do something, eBay's IT department is extremely lacking in my
I always got the sense that they have an infrastructure that they want to build on slowly. They don't want to make giant overhauls of any kind ever.
Yeah.
It's like, they'll take baby steps. I mean, let's be honest, we kind of hit them like if they're, I mean, we've all called in and said, you know what, this isn't working. eBay's been down for the last 4 hours or something like that, So, I mean, I can't imagine the work it would take to have a giant overhaul of a system, something like that.
And it's getting into something that eBay's never done before.
Yeah.
They've never shipped. The shipping is on us on eBay. So they've never done any shipping. They've never done any logistics on that aspect.
Yeah.
So this would be a new thing to them.
Yeah, I mean, they had I don't even know how to describe them. Like, if you've ever seen that old movie, the 40-year-old version, the eBay stores, I think they called it.
The franchise stores.
Yeah,
they had.
I never ever went in one. I saw them pictures of them, but I don't think. I think there's rumors about those coming back, but kind of adjusted slightly for maybe they're going to warehouse some stuff. I could see eBay kind of going in that way, in the sense that they're not going to haul, overhaul giant warehouse space like Amazon is.
Right.
50,000 square foot warehouses all over the country. I just don't see that happening.
Well, it kind of the same lines. Think about where Walmart's going.
Yeah.
Walmart is going more, and they've got Jet. They're attacking Amazon. Walmart has those small warehouses in every town.
And Walmart, it's interesting. They I don't know if they're doing this around the country completely, but they shut down. I don't know if they shut down all the Sam's Clubs or just some of them. And I've heard that they're using those Sam's Clubs as fulfillment for their website.
I hope they don't. I hope they haven't shut them all down, because ours is we just got our club membership. So.
Oops, all right. They haven't shut them all down then.
No, they're not shutting them down. But right, because they have started shutting down Walmarts over the past couple of years.
Oh yeah, I went to at least 3 or 4 that shut down.
Mm-hmm. So that could be that type of space that they have, and it's there. It's in the neighborhood. They can drop it off right from their warehouse.
Yeah,
right there.
And I'll start a rumor right now. What happens to all that space that Toys R Us owns right now? I mean, they might not own it all though, but
yeah, it goes back. It just becomes dead space, like Circuit City, or what was it? Circuit City?
Yeah, Circuit City. I remember that.
Circuit
the warehouse.
Yeah.
How many others are there? But there's too many. But yeah.
Yeah, too many. Just big box space that's dying.
Yes.
Did you happen to catch Gary V talking about Toys R Us?
No, I haven't caught him recently.
It was so good, because everybody was like, man, if you remember back in the day, Toys R Us was one of the first companies that partnered with Amazon.
Oh, okay.
And Gary Vee said the reason Toys R Us shut down is not because of the online. It's not because of anything other than they were not innovative. And he named off like 3 or 4 things they could have done. They could have become the Lego capital in every city they're in, where they have these big Lego events. They could have become a gamer capital.
Yeah.
A gamer place where they, you know, a new game comes out, you have a big contest. And I was like, yeah, they're right. They just sat on their laurels.
Yeah. And they became the next blockbuster. I mean, I can't imagine trying to pay those. I mean, the electricity employees, those stores were so big. And I heard a lot of the Babies R Us sucked a lot of money out of the Toys R Us too. And some of them are like the double stores. It's like one next to the other.
And then inventory, you know, they're buying, of course, it's all rack. A lot of it's rack jobbed, but yeah, just the inventory. Then you start talking about when you get into healthcare in a company. This is one of the things that's hurting companies like that. You know, their healthcare costs go up and up and up, but then they have people that, if they have retirement systems, that healthcare cost grows every year.
Yeah.
Until they can, unless they force them over to Medicare, Medicaid. So,
yeah, I can't. All of those costs combined, I couldn't imagine trying to. I mean, and plus, I heard about their backlog in terms of paying back the inventory to Mattel and Hasbro and people like that. They were backed up a couple of years or something like that. And they weren't getting the inventory because they still owe from the previous year or something like that.
Next 640 would not be a good net on your credit rating.
No.
So, no. But you know, another thing I'm thinking about with eBay as we're kind of talking about what they're doing, and you know, what have you heard about anymore? Now, I've been out of the loop for a while, so it's taking me a while to catch up on this one. Is that the guaranteed shipment?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still pushing it. I think it's still a big thing. You talking about guaranteed returns? No,
the guaranteed 3-day. It's going to be at your doorstep in 3 days.
Gotcha. I think it's still early days with that, to be honest.
I got the email on it.
I literally was I applied for it. I don't know if I applied for it. I was automatically, it was applied for me. Maybe 6 weeks or a month ago. And then about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I got an email saying, a lot of people got this email saying, you've been introduced or you're now part of the guaranteed program. So I don't even know if I've had a shipment that's actually used it yet.
I know their start. I don't remember the exact start date of it, but it said later on.
Yeah.
I want to think May. So, but
don't to be continued about that one.
It's you know, and this is something that you got to hand it to eBay in one aspect is they do try things. They will come up with some new programs. They will come up with things from the seller standpoint. They came up with the sponsored. Last year, they kind of played with our some of our discounts, some of our fees we have to pay.
Yeah,
and the minute that happened, I was really concerned about like where they're going, what they're up against, you know, how much money do they make? And then you start realizing sometimes they can, you know, it's about the buyers. We all know that. But
okay, I think we lost Russ there for a second. But I think what he was saying was eBay's got an interesting their plan isn't a one-tier plan, it's a multiple-tier plan. And I was talking about this with him earlier. What I think about what eBay is doing, especially when Russ comes back, I'll ask him about this too. They have their new programs for beginning sellers and for, I don't know what they call them, epic sellers or elite sellers, basically people that list 100,000 items or more. And I think that you can see their mindset. They're like setting up for people that are starting to use eBay and that are like big established brands. And Hey Russ, I was just saying that we were talking about this a little bit earlier. To add to what you were saying with eBay, there are two new rollout programs. The other ones that they came out with recently, I forget what they call it, the Elite program for stores with like 100,000 items. It's basically for
Right.
I don't know, giant brands. And then the complete opposite. You got the beginner program. I don't know if it's 50 items or less than 100 items, something like that. So what I'm thinking is that in their mindset, they have two main people to focus on rather than one. And it's guys that have never used eBay,
Right.
or guys that wouldn't consider using eBay because they thought eBay wasn't good enough for them. The complete opposite
Right.
side of the spectrum, right? You know, like,
Exactly.
I don't know, Guess Jeans or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and kudos to them for reaching out, trying different things. They're trying to get more target, they did the big advertising campaign. But when you start digging into eBay and realizing some of the numbers that come out, eBay has $2 billion in reserve right now.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Now they are a for-profit industry, so I'm okay with having them that. But dang, $2 billion in reserve. Cut the little guy a little break. Don't cut my fees. Don't cut my discounts.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because what I'm thinking, I don't know. This is just the way I think. The fact that they kind of pushed the beginner sellers and the super elite sellers, and they haven't done. I mean, not that they haven't done anything, but they haven't changed or added programs for someone that has, I don't know, 1,000 items. They haven't added a 1,500 or a 2,000 or a 5,000, something like that.
Right.
The most,
right. The guy that consistently sells $2-3 grand a month.
Yeah. They're thinking that those guys are going to stay here. They need us. The new guys don't know about us, and the big guys, we want to attract them.
Right.
So we're going to focus on here and here, and the guys in between will just have to either catch up or, try and become one of the big guys, which is nearly impossible.
Is that the mentality of like our government, where just work off the backs of the middle people?
It's kind of unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Have you looked at eBay stock lately?
Not recently, no.
Not recently. It's leveling out, or it's climbing just a tad, but you're only talking, it's at 36, right around 36, 35. Been running around there. You know what Amazon's at right now?
A lot higher than that.
1,400.
Jeez. I heard that just dropped to 1,400, right? Recently.
Yeah, it's had a little dip after the Washington's kind of zeroed out.
Yeah.
And so take those two stocks, take the 15-year history or 17-year history now. Amazon stock in October of 2001 was at $5.
Oh, wow.
And eBay stock in October of 2001 was around 2022. So that kind of shows you how, your big investors or your people that follow. Now, keep in mind, there was a split. There was an eBay split when PayPal happened. So there was a stock. There was I think a 2,300 to 1,000. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the exact numbers, but there was a stock split. But yet, look at those two numbers and see. And sometimes you can gauge how a company's doing and what a company is doing by seeing the stock numbers over a very long time, because then people aren't investing into that company.
It's true.
So it kind of shows you that in the tech world, the techies, okay, eBay's out there. It's not a blue chip, so to speak. Yeah. So go look at Etsy. Etsy's a relatively new stock. They're outperforming eBay right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's interesting though. I need to look into that more, because that makes a lot of sense. Especially with, if you talk about companies that acquire companies like Amazon likes to do, you expect it's kind of going the opposite way of eBay in a sense. So you said they're splitting. Amazon uses every single dime they've got to expand.
Yeah. So where's eBay going? Like we said, we don't know. Nobody knows.
No, but I guess one thing we could maybe speculate on is if they were to warehouse, what would be in those warehouses? What types of items would they prefer?
Right. They're going to have to curtail it, because I'll start sending in every.
I think we all would.
Yeah, every TV I can find.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they will kind of model Amazon. It's the Amazon effect, like everyone says.
Yeah,
and I forget who's, maybe multiple people have said this, that most of the stuff that actually sells on eBay is newer stuff, or the majority of stuff. So yeah, it's newer. My question is, for anyone that sells used anything, especially clothing, which is a huge market on eBay, is that going to kind of become like a merchant fulfilled on Amazon? I mean, it's basically what we're doing already anyway, but
right.
But the question is, like with FBA, there was a premium put on that. Like, oh, it's an FBA item. It's faster. You get it faster. They bump it up in the rankings. It's more visible. You can get more money for it. So that vintage concert T-shirt maybe isn't worth as much anymore. I don't know. You know what I mean? So
that's a tough one.
Nope, lost in there for a second. But yeah, my point to that was that first of all, I don't think eBay is going to shell out money for warehouses. They're going to partner up with somebody, or maybe multiple somebodies. Like they already have partners with FedEx, Kinko's, not for warehousing, but for shipping. They're going to partner up with somebody else, maybe big sellers, I don't know, that have their own warehouses, and just kind of use that warehousing space. But because of that, they're going to have limited space. And if they were to do this, and this is all hypothetical, we're assuming that they're going into the warehousing game, we don't even know that. But if they were, then I think it's all going to be new goods. They'll have a list of items at first, maybe, that they want you to send in. I don't know. They always promote, they always send you a list of items that they think you should sell anyway. I think they'll kind of piggyback off that. And then, so I was just saying that, adding to what you were saying, of just that the warehousing space that they get is probably, since they're probably not going to buy it, in this hypothetical situation we're talking about, they're probably going to only have new items in there, I'm assuming. And possibly only like very hot selling items, like brand new video games and brand new clothing, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Small electronics.
Exactly.
Yeah, used probably would never. I mean, man, I could send them everything used.
Yeah, and they probably, I mean, they see what we see in terms of going online, reading in the forums. I'm sure they know people that sell on Amazon. They have all their.
They're listening to us right now, Mo.
Yep. I think they're up. I see a red light beeping over there.
That's right. When they got us, especially Google's telling them what we're saying.
Yes,
so,
that is true.
Cool.
And every Samsung TV is recording us.
Let's move on to, we talked earlier about a couple things, just some tips, techniques, anything you want to talk about, a couple items?
Sure. I mean, in terms of items that we think would be better to sell on eBay, or
no, just a couple ideas or a couple points of interest to talk about.
Sure. In terms of what I've been doing on eBay recently, I've kind of been trying to limit because I'm moving. So I found a lot of items that I cannot pick up, which is, you went through this in the last 6 months.
Right.
So for example, what did I see today? I think I was looking at, it was like a vintage blanket or something like that. It was huge though. It was like 90 inches by 70 inches or something like that.
Man.
And it looked very cool, very 70s-ish. The only thing is that now everything I pick up has to sell really fast, or it has to be
Right.
small. So obviously this is big and heavy. And the one thing is the tag was worn. I knew this would sell, but probably in, I don't know, 60 days, 90 days. So for me, my new thing is I have to pick up light and small.
It'll streamline you to do that, won't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you hate it. What was the cost of the item?
It wasn't much, $5.99.
$5.99. And what do you think you would pull down on that?
I've sold a similar blanket. It took 2 months to sell. It sold for $70 including shipping, which I've heard some people say, that's it's an average price for that type of thing. But it did take maybe 2.5 months to sell.
So now you've got your inventory space. You're moving, so that's going to cost you weight, gas, muscle power to pick that. Right. So the more stuff you would add, so it does kind of streamline you. So does it hurt when you're doing stuff like that? And you see, I can make money on that, but it's long.
It does. I mean, I've been looking through like smaller bins that have like little, basically electronic knickknacks, remotes, video game controllers,
right.
Obviously video games, but other stuff like that a lot. I've been finding bigger things, to be honest, though. I mean, it's just, I don't know. That's just the way.
That's the run. That's when you need the small stuff, you find all the big things, right?
Yep. And the second thing that's really irritating me is looking for stuff. Now, I was bad with inventory to begin with, but at least I had it organized. Now, since everything is in a garage, it's all basically piled up. So every time I get something, I have to move things off other things. Then every time I buy something, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have to move 3 buckets, 3 of this. And I've got like four levels of 4 buckets or something like that. And then I've got some other boxes too. So, I mean, it's a pain right now with inventory. I can't wait. I hate inventory. I can't wait to set up an inventory system, like a brand new one now. I just don't have anywhere to do it.
Well, you're in a good spot though, because when you do eventually move, you'll have that ability and that time, to do it right, and in that way you can go. That's something here with now having a permanent residence. We've taken one room, and I had stuff kind of flying around. I'm like, nope, we got to organize before it gets out of control, because. That's something that I heard somebody say recently was like, well, I was talking to them about Reseller, and they said, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to find any stuff to sell. And I think I said that last episode. I've never had a problem with finding enough stuff. It was just, but so cool.
I found mugs at a gas station one time. So, I mean, they were pretty nice. They were Budweiser mugs. I think I still have them over there too. They were like the Stein type. They were at a gas station too. I don't know. They weren't their normal, like run of the mill, AM, PM mugs. They were like Steins.
Right.
I mean, they were overpriced, so I didn't get them, but you can find stuff anywhere.
You can here in Savannah, you can find stuff in the alley. Like Dumpster Markets does. It's just like
nice.
Facebook chat groups now, or groups.
Oh yeah.
They are free couch, free.
It's funny you say that. Yesterday I was watching a show. It's out of England somewhere. It's a lady, I forget, I think it's called like Money for Nothing or something like that. She literally goes and she waits outside the front of recycle centers. So people are driving up, dumping their couches, their TVs, all this stuff. And she goes up to them before they go in. And she asks them, can I have this?
Can I have that?
Yeah. And she took like what I saw, 2 ladders. She took a Monopoly game, and I didn't watch the whole episode, but then she's going to basically redo them, sell them, and then give them money back, or the profits back, to the person that was donating it.
That's not bad. I'd be hard pressed to give those profits back if I'm doing the work, but
yeah, I'm sure they have to sign off on something,
But what a. I mean, just go to the dump and just sit outside.
Yeah.
Looking for this. Yeah.
Oh, they did have a big disclaimer. This is illegal. If you do this, you will be arrested. So
How can, isn't that stupid though? How could that be like dumpster diving in cities? I can understand you get in, you tear things up, you throw things around.
Yeah.
But how can it be keeping stuff out of the landfills illegal?
It's
It blows
funny.
my mind.
Actually, I watched another. I think it was a documentary, or maybe it was a blog. I don't know if it was Sweden or Switzerland. I forget which country exactly, but they actually are importing garbage because they use it. They use some kind of decomposing system to basically use that to power other things.
Oh yeah, the methane or methane.
Something. I mean, I don't know what it. I mean, maybe somebody else knows exactly what the terminology, but they're importing garbage. I mean, that's crazy.
Garbage is going to become a commodity.
It has to become a commodity. I mean, have you heard of the plastic? I know we're going off tangent here, but do you know? Have you heard of the plastic island?
Oh yeah,
it's in the middle of I don't know, between the Indian Ocean and something. I have no idea, but it's just plastic.
All the majors have it now. Yeah, it's just a big swirl of plastic.
Yeah, and I heard there's a company going out there with some machine, but because it's so thick, they can't do it. But they're trying to profit on that somehow. They just can't because I don't know, the salt water and the wildlife or whatever.
Plastic. I saw one guy. He was collecting plastic because plastic is oil.
Yeah.
You can break it back down into the oil, then you've got a gold mine. So,
I mean, I think this is the future. I mean, it's the past and it's the future.
Trash is a commodity.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, I get it. I got a couple things just to remind people. It's April. We're getting into golf and summer season.
That's right.
So think ahead on that aspect of it. Let's see. And then me and you kind of chuckled about, if you're going to sell on Facebook, have a decent profile picture. Don't put your dog up there. Don't put your cat. Don't put something offensive, because that might cost you a sell. Yeah,
especially if you're going to meet somebody and you look, I mean, you don't have a picture of yourself, or you look scary, then that's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't change yourself or don't keep yourself protected, but there's a reason it's called Facebook.
Yeah.
Put your face on it, not a picture of your cat, not a picture of a skull, not a picture of
Nope, I think we lost him there. But I think what Russ was telling me about is he looked at a local Facebook. He was showing me a picture of a local Facebook group, and there was a lady, or I think it was a lady, that was advertising something. And let's just say the picture was kind of scary. So, I mean, if you're going to advertise something you want to sell, you might want to, I don't know, make it look like something that people want to talk to you about. Russ, I was just telling him about the kind of a description of the picture you showed me of the lady on Facebook. I don't know who she is or what.
I don't want to be ugly, but it was bad. It was bad. It was scary.
I mean, I don't want to make fun of anybody because I'm no one to talk. But
but it was almost like it's hard to explain. It was scary. It was like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to deal with that person.
It almost looked like something you'd see on the wall at a police station. Like,
and yeah, you hate to make, but it was a great example of like, and this person, had a lot to resell and was just like, and I'm sure she's probably thinking, nobody's answering my ads. Well,
yeah,
just kind of think you don't have to be perfect. Nobody is, but
just don't scare me. I mean,
don't make it look like you're going to kill my dog if we meet up.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so on that note, I think we're going to call it a night. We do have a Facebook group, and actually, I'll wait for Russ to get back in here real fast. But I know we haven't really been too active in the Facebook group. We're going to start doing that again as we're a little bit more active. Russ, I was just telling everybody that we do have a Facebook group still. We just have not been very active in it. Reseller Niche Facebook group, I think it's called. I don't even know what it's called, but look us up on Facebook. We're on YouTube, and if you could, we're on iTunes, and if you could leave us a review, that would be great. Good or bad, whatever you want to say, because I know we're a work in progress at the moment.
Well, yeah, we're just hanging out. You know,
exactly.
hopefully somebody gleans a few things that either somebody's starting, or I thought of our original taglines: research equals knowledge equals profit.
Yep.
We hope that somebody, just go out there and do it, people. You've got the ability. You've got the phone in front of you now. There's no reason why whether this is your plan A or your plan B or just some side money, it's there for you. And that's kind of what I always want to tell people is, man, you can do it.
Absolutely. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm the dullest tool in the shed. So if you can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. See, I messed up that line there.
They're getting right. So.
All right. Until the next one, folks, I'm Mo Fremont, and for Russ, have a good one.
Take care.